Okay, welcome back mga ka-review at eto na nga no, breaking news. Nako po, malaking gulo ito. Pangulong BBM harapang sinagot si VP Inday Sara Duterte. Lahat ay na-shock sa Pier 88. Nako, ano kaya ito no mga ka-review? Pero bago po natin simulan ang balitang ito mga ka-review, sa mga hindi pa po nakapag-subscribe sa ating channel, please don't forget to subscribe. At i-click na rin po ang bell notification para updated po kayo sa lahat ng na-upload sa ating balita araw-araw. Okay? Eto na nga mga ka-review, wag na po natin patagalin, sabay-sabay po natin pakinggan at panoorin at bigyan ng komento, reaksyon at kritisismo no, ang balitang ito. Diyos ko po, anong nangyari kay Pbbm? Nagulat si VP Sara. Yan. Eto na mga ka-review, pakinggan at panoorin po natin ang kabuuan ng balitang ito. Eto na po.
Parang nabalik ako dun sa kampanya, nandun kami dalawa ni Inday Sara nagbubungis-ngisan ulit. And the reason I made her laugh is that I told her, dito sa mga gulong nangyayari, I have just officially designated myself as your self-appointed official BFF. So, kahit sorry na lang, sayot mo sa gusto mo, I'm still your number one fan.
Aba, yun pala ang sinabi ni Pbbm, no? Napakaganda po. Pero ito, panoorin po natin ang kabuuan ng kanyang sinabi, no? Ribbon cutting, mga ka-review. Nako, napakaganda po ng pier na ito, no? Napakaganda at napakalinis. So yan, dumating na po ang ating Pangulo.
Our deputy speakers, Duke Frasco and Raymond Mendoza, our other members of the House of Representatives, our members of the cabinet, our city mayors and municipal mayors, as well as board members that are present, the officials of Pier 88 led by Eric Lim and Kyle Uy, mga binati ug minahal kong kaigsuunang Sugboanon, maayong hapon kanatong tanan. In life, there are synchronicities, random events that seem to look like coincidences. And yet, if you look more closely, you realize that all of these are connected and give meaning to our lives. In 2019, we broke ground right here on what was then a promise of Pier 88, together with and was our special guest, a city mayor, the presidential daughter, Sara Duterte, or Inday. Well, she's back, right here, to inaugurate the realization of that promise, because Pier 88 has now come to full life, and I knew that she would not miss this occasion for the world, to put a full circle to what was started and now has finally been completed. Daghang salamat, Vice President Sara Inday Duterte. in 2010, at around this time too, in celebration of the Liloan Fiesta, we had some guests. I was here, I was governor. We were at the sports complex, and the mayor then kindly invited us for lunch. He was none other than my most favorite son-in-law. He's the only one, anyway. He was then Mayor Duke Frasco. We had, I think at the time, Ernie Maceda and other officials coming from Manila. So we were all seated in the center, the identified presidential table. And as I looked to my right, I saw a solitary figure sitting in the table. I recognized him as the son of a former president and his namesake. And so I told Duke, you have to ask that person to join us here in the presidential table. So he was approached and he came, but at that moment I was struck at the humility of this person. There would be many other occasions that our paths would meet, and always that humility. Well, he is back, and he is seated right here. Our very special guest, the President himself, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Little did we know then that in 2022, both of them would team up under the banner of UniTeam, calling for unity in this fractured and divided country of ours. And that was what the Filipinos were looking for. The Filipinos responded, in fact. The Cebuanos responded with a deafening cry, yes, unity, sama-sama tayong babangon muli. And lo and behold, the entire Cebu Island, one Cebu Island, Mayor Mike, Mayor Jonas, Mayor Ahong, and all of us Cebuanos trooped to the voting precincts, and with one voice, we delivered the highest votes for president and vice president throughout the entire country. Look at us. We're gathered here this afternoon because Pier 88 has finally been completed despite the many challenges, the pandemic, the lockdowns, and as a double whammy, Typhoon Odette. But look, it seems as though those difficulties never happened because Eric and Kyle and the rest of the Pier 88 team refused to succumb to all of the hardships that they had to encounter. Congratulations, Pier 88. This will finally end the suffering of Camotes Island, particularly, where for many years the trips were monopolized by one shipping line, traveling from another port to a private port. Look, right now, responding with a roar, immediately represented by these three vessels, Ocean Jet, as now shipping and super shuttle, these will now give the people of Camotes and the people of Cebu a choice. More importantly, the riding public, a choice to reach Camotes, and for our mayors of Poro, San Francisco, Tudela, and even Pilar, a much brighter future of economic development through a boom in tourism. My daughter should get very happy about this. Synchronicities, coincidences, these are not random. They happen for a reason. And throughout this afternoon, I've been trying to think of what possible reason could have brought us all together here on this stage, brought us all together. Our officials and Cebuanos to celebrate this milestone. And then we go back to unity and uniteam. For what greater reason could there possibly be than coming together in oneness, in unity, to serve our people, to serve those that are most in need, ang mga Subuanon, ang mga Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong babangon muli. Congratulations, Pier 88. This is just one of the many coincidences that will continue to happen for as long as we remember the core of why we have been given this opportunity to serve. Unity. Unity. One Cebu Island unity. Daghang salamat. Maayong hapon.
Thank you, Governor Garcia. Now to give us a bird's eye view of the project, may we request Top-Line Group of Companies and Pier 88 Ventures Inc. CEO and President, Eugene Eric Lim.
Thank you for the time. It's our pleasure to have everyone here. To President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., sir, thank you for the time, sir. To Vice President Sara Duterte, ma'am, you've been here since the groundbreaking to the inauguration. Thank you so much for the support, ma'am. And to all the distinguished guests here present, sirs, ma'am, and everyone here, good afternoon, magandang hapon, maayong hapon sa tanan. So our Pier 88 grand launching is to showcase our port and its facilities. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Congressman Duke, Secretary Cristina, Mayor Aljo on how they conceptualized the port of Liloan. Our big round of applause, please. This project is about helping the public and the people to decongest traffic and promote economic activity, not only in the north, part of Cebu, but also in the Cebu Island as a whole. Actually, I prepared a very short presentation, sir. If it's okay with everyone, just 4 hours lang naman eh. It's okay. Yeah. And actually, I also want to ask anyone here, would you know if how many times we changed the design of Pier 88? Trivia question? May premyo.
Ba, may premyo,
Ha?
tatlo.
88, grabe naman. Hindi naman 88 times. Sobra naman.
3 times.
So if you see the screen here, this is actually the old photos of 2019 when we started construction. This is our first design for the port. And then, of course, COVID happened. So we had to reinvent ourselves. We had to put more alfresco, open dining, and then the next phase would be we encountered a very devastating typhoon, Typhoon Odette, which was a shock to all of the Cebuanos. So again, for Pier 88 and the team, we had to reinvent again ourselves. So this is actually the inauguration day, Ma'am VP. And this is the aftermath of the Typhoon Odette. So basically, nag-U yung causeway natin. So it was that powerful. And now, current design, it's now this one. This is the design of Pier 88. Isn't it amazing? We would also want to thank our bank partner, DBP and its team, for your understanding and being patient despite the many changes sa design. Sorry sa inyo. Thank you, ma'am and sirs, for that. And so what sets Pier 88 apart from other ports? So we are actually using the smart port system, and it's a green building. And of course, for Liloan, for Pier 88, the location is very strategic on the northern part of Cebu. The smart port system that we're using is an automated ticketing system, not only for passengers, but also for cargo. With our QR code system, this can make travel seamless for the passengers. This is also the same with our South Bus Terminal Gov, so which of course Governor Gwen and the province is our partner. So this is more of the automation. We can do QR code system, we can book online. You don't have to be here to book your tickets, so everything is seamless for the passengers. For our green building, we are also installing solar panels in the building to power our electricity, and this is also part of the company's goal for decarbonization. And I believe also, Mr. President, this is also one of your programs to use more renewables to help the environment, sir. So we have solar panels on top of the building to power the electricity needs for the port. And to add to that, we have a mixed-use development. We will be incorporating this promenade. We're calling it Food Station. So where we are right now, we'll be redeveloping it as a promenade. So basically, there will be different stalls and other tenants. Of course, we're calling it, again, Food Station because it has a very spectacular view of the port and the scenery here in Liloan. And in fact, I think we've already had tenants signed up. We have 7-Eleven, I think we have Titay's here. And also, we're still in talks with Starbucks. And I think LTO is also renovating upstairs, secretary, for that. So, and of course, as what Congressman Duke mentioned earlier, for Liloan, this serves as a touch point for other port destinations. So when we did our dry run from Liloan to Mactan, instead of doing land travel, it's only here, Liloan, Mactan, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Instead of going land travel, it takes about, I don't know, 1 hour 30 or 2 hours. I don't know. 2 hours na lang. It's okay. And this is more or less our top line sea buses that will be flying soon, Mr. President. This is actually QR code ready. It has a capacity of 150 passengers. And also, the one who built the sea bus is also from this part of Cebu, which is the northern part from Carmen, which is from DCF Construction. So we're just getting all of the talents here in Metro Cebu. Yeah, this is just the sea bus in action. I'm gonna cut this video. I would like to share this quote before I end my speech from Leo Buscaglia, and it goes, "Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God." Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very, very much. And before I leave you, Direct Gilbert has actually prepared an AVP presentation for Pier 88 when we started and the design right now. Again, thank you very much.
So yan po yung groundbreaking mga review, no? Si Vice President Sara Duterte. Napakaganda po ng President. Parang resort lang.
Please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
So ito na po yung hinihintay natin, mga ka-review.
Thank you very much to our good Vice President for her please take your seats, for her very kind introduction. If you parang nabalik ako dun sa kampanya, nandun kami dalawa ni Inday Sara nagbubungis-ngisan ulit. And the reason I made her laugh is that I told her, dito sa mga gulong nangyayari, I have just officially designated myself as your self-appointed official BFF. So, kahit sorry na lang, sayot mo sa gusto mo, I'm still your #1 fan. Our good speaker, Martin Romualdez, and of course our tourism secretary, Secretary Sina Frasco, the transportation secretary Jimmy Bautista, the Cebu 5th District representative, of course Duke Frasco, the Cebu City Governor, our good friend Governor Gwen Garcia, the Liloan Municipal Mayor Aljo Frasco, the Top Line Group of Companies President and CEO Eugene Eric Lim, fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Today I stand together with the people of Liloan for two very significant and important reasons. We witness today the grand launching of Pier 88, which shall offer a faster transport alternative for passengers and for cargo, and holds promise to become a local economic hub. It shall immensely serve the interests of the people of Liloan and beyond. It's made more special since it coincides with the 178th anniversary of Liloan, with the Rosquillos Festival, which is named after the native delicacy which Liloan has been known for decades. In a sense, this is also a grand relaunching of the Rosquillos Festival after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic. With the public health emergency having been declared no longer an emergency, no longer one of international concern, we can now resume the traditional festivities, and we can now resume the work that we had begun for all the development around our country, now in Cebu, in Liloan. It's encouraging to see that the massive undertaking such as this, where the local government takes the lead and collaborates with the private sector and other LGUs in the pursuit of objectives consonant with the national development agenda. If we notice cohesive features, it can be seen that several public services and developmental goals are delivered and achieved all at the same time. Public infrastructure, transport, development, road traffic, decongestion. But there is the governor hit the nail upon the head when she said that these are just parts of a bigger system that we will synchronize and put together. At the face of it, for example, we have now this Pier 88, we now have a ferry service, we talk about Camotes Island. And we think, of course, that is going to be good for Liloan, it's going to be good for Camotes, but it doesn't end there. The concept that as ASEAN leaders have been talking about so as to develop the economies of the ASEAN member states is a concept of connectivity. We have used the word connectivity merely to describe digital connectivity. We have now extended the meaning of that connectivity to include not only digital connectivity, but also to include connectivity in terms of land and sea and air transport. And this is what that provides. We have seen, all of us have seen, all the problems with supply chain networks. And that is why we have focused, all of us have focused on making that connectivity more smooth and more streamlined and more accessible and easier to use, and therefore making the ease of doing business not such a difficult effort for those who would like to do business in any way whatsoever. And so this is, for example, here in this example that we have here before us, we talk about the tourism industry, which will be improved by that. But this is not just the tourism for Liloan, for Cebu, for Camotes Island. This is in consonance with the discussions that we have been making with other countries, especially around ASEAN, even including all the way up to Europe, in that we are going. I have just officially designated myself as your self-appointed official BFF. So, kahit sorry na lang, sayot mo sa gusto mo, I'm still your #1 fan. Very significant and important reasons. Resume the traditional festivities, and we can now resume the work that we had begun for all the development around our country, now in Cebu, in Liloan. It's encouraging to see that the massive undertaking such as this, where the local government takes the lead and collaborates with the private sector and other LGUs in the pursuit of objectives consonant with the national development agenda. If we notice cohesive features, it can be seen that several public services and developmental goals are delivered and achieved all at the same time. Public infrastructure, transport, development, road traffic, decongestion. But there is the governor hit the nail upon the head when she said that these are just parts of a bigger system that we will synchronize and put together. At the face of it, for example, we have now this Pier 88, we now have a ferry service. We talk about Camotes Island. And we think, of course, that is going to be good for Liloan, it's going to be good for Camotes, but it doesn't end there. The concept that as ASEAN leaders have been talking about so as to develop in any way whatsoever. And so this is, for example, here in this in this example that we have here before us, we talk about the tourism industry, which will be improved by that. But this is not just the tourism for Liloan, for Cebu, for Camotes Island. This is in consonance with the discussions that we have been making with other countries, especially around ASEAN, even including all the way up to Europe, in that we are going to work together so that to increase our tourism volume. And this is, again, it may seem as just one single part. It is a very good development, but we must think of it in terms of not only this single port that we are looking at here now, but as part of a larger system, a larger network, which will make it easier for not only for Filipinos to get from one place to another, Filipinos to be able to do business, to open up areas that do not have economic activity as of now. I mean, if you think about it, the first time I went to Camotes Island, there were really no resorts, there were really no developments there, and now slowly that has begun, and this will just accelerate that process. And it is part of that network which we are trying to put together for the entire country to also accelerate the economic activity in those other places. And so this is why today is very important, because today we put in place a very important piece of that puzzle that we are trying to put together so that our connectivity, not only amongst the islands of the Philippines, but even amongst our international friends and visitors and tourists, is strengthened and made more easy and made more accessible. These are the important aspects that we have to attend to if we are going to transform our economy into the post-pandemic economy. So there is much that we will achieve. There are activities of tourism, job generation, energy efficiency, sustainability. I was in Cebu City 3 months ago for the groundbreaking of the Cebu Bus Rapid Transit System. Transportation na naman, because more connectivity. And that, again, is what we have been pushing for. That is another project that is likewise guaranteed to gear these to help us achieve these multiple objectives. With the many benefits to the public interest, these projects showcase kindred examples of good urban planning. Let us imagine if these kinds of projects are replicated across the country, laterally and locally coordinated, and harmonized both on the provincial and national levels, then we could say that we are genuinely closer to our ambition of a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient society. Hence, we highlight the essential importance of holistic, systematic, and integrated planning in our country today, as we slowly but collectively tread along that path. In Japan, this urban planning concept is known as machizukuri. In the literal sense, it means town planning. But in the essence that the concept carries, there is a more weighty and more profound idea behind it, such as the primacy of the national framework, the evolution of local planning powers to local governments, the importance of data, and community participation. Our response to this is what we have come to call the whole of government approach. When we are confronted with challenges, or when we have a program that we would like to achieve, we apply all the resources, all the capacities, all the abilities of the bureaucracy of government And no matter what department they are, no matter what agency they might be, they are all applied to solve that problem. And that includes the coordination between the national government and the local government. It is the only way, in my view, that I see that we can succeed both at the local level and at the national level. So we laud the efforts, not only of Liloan, but of course of Cebu Province, through the coordinative efforts of the Metropolitan Cebu Development and Coordinating Board, in their pursuit of good urban planning and development practices. The vision of Mega Cebu by 2050 is already in place. This is actively being pursued as we speak. As an island province with several cities and municipalities, Cebu stands to greatly benefit from a systematic and integrated planning. Such kind of strategic planning will serve to further solidify its urban development foundation and consolidate its socio-economic strength. It will be a boon not only for Cebu, but for the rest of the country. And again, we have to remark that as in many other forward-looking programs, Cebu once again leads the way. Cebu once again shows the way for the rest of the Philippines. We will be watching the success of all of these coordinated efforts that we are doing with Cebu. And again, we will use those examples around the country. But now allow me to reiterate the urgency of enacting a land use policy for our country, which is a priority legislative agenda of this administration. I have had the opportunity to work on this matter when I chaired the Senate Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement Committee some years ago. It never materialized for reasons beyond our control. The pandemic is also included in that circumstance. This time, we will see to it that this measure shall be given urgent attention that it deserves, cognizant of its fundamental importance to our holistic national development. Through a physical framework plan, all mandates and policies on land use shall be integrated, from watersheds to farmlands, from cultural heritage sites to ancestral domains, from protected disaster-prone areas. Local governments must ensure that their respective physical and land use plans shall conform to and shall be consistent with the national plan. Hence, the whole of government approach. Moreover, national and local governments will tap the budding profession of environmental planners for its technical expertise in the crafting of accurate and well-aligned physical and land use plans. I thank the House of Representatives for its timely and significant action in having approved their version of the bill on third reading just a few days ago. It is terribly important. I have been following this from the time that I was governor to the time that I was congressman until the time I was senator, and I continue to do so now as president. And so I exhort the local government of Liloan, the whole of Cebu, to continue generating these kind of high-impact projects and give us once again examples of best practice.
Nandyan rin pala si, si House Speaker Romualdez, mga ka-review, at nandyan si VP Sara. ano kayang kanilang reaksyon sa kanilang pagkikita na tinawag itong si House Speaker na tambaluslos. Nako. So yan po mga ka-review. Yan po yung naging speech ni ayun na nga po kanina di ba mga ka-review, bago magsimula, sinabi ni President BBM na ano man daw ang nangyayari ngayon, sinabi niya kay BP Sara na ano man daw ang nangyayari ngayon, siya pa rin daw ang #1 fan at BFF ni BP Sara. So, maaaring may may laman yung sinabi niya. Kasi nga po mayroon ngayong nangyayari na, 'di ba? Yung mga balita tungkol kay House Speaker Romualdez, kay former President Gloria Arroyo at itong si BP Sara, 'di ba? Medyo mainit ang issue ngayon, di ba? Tapos, yan, nandyan pa si speaker, kasama pala nila. So yan mga ka-review, ano po ang inyong reaction sa naging balitang ito? I-comment lang po sa baba at pag-usapan natin yan, alright? At mga ka-review, sa hindi pa po nakaka-subscribe sa ating channel, please don't forget to subscribe. At i-click na rin po ang bell notification para updated po kayo sa lahat ng na-upload sa ating balita araw-araw, okay? Pa-like and share na din po mga ka-review para mas marami pong mga kababayan natin sa ibang bansa ang makapanood ng makabuluhang balitang ito. Maraming